Yo, 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 what's good? Welcome to another episode of Dynasty Overload, a fantasy podcast. I'm your host, Manny, and with one of my co-hosts, Shilor, the main man, aka Fantasy Genius. How you feeling today, brother?
Man, I'm feeling amazing. Feeling it in another startup draft, man. I'm ready to go.
Let's get it, man. So, man, this is gonna be a smooth show today, man. Let's kick things off with current events. Any current events?
Literally at this point, we're just seeing some coaching staffs continue to get filled out. Big news is going to be coming with those franchise tags pretty soon. And then, of course, the league year starts on March 15th. So I think that's when we're going to see a lot of action then. Should actually see some roster moves, some cuts and things of that nature. But nothing is dropped just yet, but it's coming.
So question, when can people actually start signing with teams?
So typically the official launch of everything is going to be right on that March 15th is what you're looking at there. There is going to be that legal tampering period that typically you'll start hearing stuff announced. But the big thing for me is always wait till everything is locked and loaded. We had a couple different situations. We see it every year where, they'll have a verbal commitment and then something will switch up at the last minute. So always want to wait till it's official.
Good deal. So, man, we got a fun show today. So we'll be talking dynasty buys in the NFC North and the AFC North. Those are the last two of our dynasty buys and sales series. Sorry, I'm watching the Celtics and Sixers game, and it's wild. Oh, my gosh.
What happened?
I'm so sorry. Joel Embiid hit a half-court shot from the other side to tie it up. Wow. But they said there's no time. I'm sorry. It was just
Man,
I'm watching.
That's what we need. That's the live stuff we talking about. That's breaking news.
Man, like it was crazy because the other team shot the ball with 1 second left, right?
Wow.
Then Joel Embiid shoots a shot from his free throw line. He launches it. But he still had the ball in his hands when the light went off. But wow. I mean, it went straight swish. It was amazing, but it didn't count, man. What an amazing game. What an amazing game, man. That's the kind of stuff I like, man. It was bananas. You'll see the replay later. But so we talking. I'm sorry, man. That was amazing. So dynasty buys and sales. Dynasty buys and sales, and we're doing AFC North and NFC North as well. So in the AFC North, I gotta look it up. Who's in the AFC North, man?
So Steelers. Who would you say is going to be your buy for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Buy or sell?
Man, believe it or not, man, my buy is Najee Harris. Najee Harris is a guy who slept on. It's either you like him or you hate him. But for me, he got the Dynasty Overload logo.
Oh yeah.
Face cap, wrap, whatever that is. But I like it.
Headband.
That's what's up.
Headband, I love it. Yeah. So yeah,
I got the shirt too. Let's go.
Look at it.
Oh yeah.
Good deal.
Ready
so for me, it's Najee Harris. He's a guy that's disrespected. He's a guy that's fallen. I was able to pick him up in the 6th round of a startup, which is crazy, insane value. Had a down second year, but when you look at it, he still was like around RB 15-ish. So it's not a bad buy. And then with Pickett, being into that offense second year, and then you have Deontay Johnson, all these guys, and if they can hit on the offensive line, like to improve it, Najee Harris could definitely be a decent dynasty top 20 back. What about you?
So for me, I'm going George Pickens is the buy for me.
Okay.
And here's the thing: George Pickens is coming. You can see it. You can kind of feel it. It's a vibe. It's a movement. And typically what you see in Pittsburgh is they lean into their dominant players. And that's one of the staples of the Mike Tomlin era. We've seen it with Antonio Brown. We saw it even with Juju Smith-Schuster. It's really about taking that next level. And George Pickens is primed to do that. From the time that he showed up as a freshman at Georgia, you saw that he was the real deal. And he started to display some of those highlight reels. So now it's just target share.
Yeah.
So I think seeing that target share actually come in, the talent's already there. I think he's primed for an amazing season. I've been buying him everywhere I can get my hands on him.
Good deal. Yeah, I love George Pickens a lot. Tommy, what about you? Pittsburgh Steelers, buy or sell?
I'm buying Calvin Austin.
Okay.
This is my guy right here. Reason I'm buying or what I'm believing is they're gonna move on from Deontay Johnson. This is going to be the last year of his contract coming up. They're talking about restructuring him, getting that cap number down, but I don't think they're planning on extending him. So if you're looking at their receiving core, and Pittsburgh loves to reload, and Calvin Johnson was hurt this last year, so I think he's
Mhm.
going to come in. The other thing is I do like the other receiver that Sheila was speaking on, Pickens.
Mhm.
But I do wonder about his injury history. So listen, if he does have an injury, that's just Calvin Austin sitting there being able to eat up a whole lot more. And listen, and Manny, hey, I'm selling Harris. I'm selling Harris. Not because I don't think he has the talent. That maybe he's had too many carries. Maybe the load was too much too
Mhm.
early. And I do think they're gonna have Warren coming in and taking some of those touches away. But that's not a big sell on Harris. I'm just not buying him where we was buying him when he was coming into when he came into the NFL.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens. I'll go ahead and kick it off. My sell is Lamar Jackson. Why? Lamar Jackson is phenomenal. He's a great quarterback, but these running quarterbacks, it's kind of like you don't know when that run is going to end. An injury can literally ruin this guy. On top of that, we don't know where he's going to be. We don't know if he ends up in a good situation. We don't know what his weapons look like. So for me, Lamar Jackson is a buy and a sell. Actually, I'm selling to those who are buying. And I had an offer. Somebody was offering me Jared Goff and a 23 first, 107. I tried to do the deal, but then, cold feet, they backed out. So yeah, if I'm getting a deal like that, I'm selling Lamar Jackson. I'm buying Lamar Jackson if somebody's selling for a late first, or even for a first in general. Like if I'm in need of a quarterback, Lamar puts up points when he's healthy. And the thing with him, why I'm also selling is that you don't even know what his injury history the last 2 years. He's been hurt. So he's a buy and sell for me. I'm buying low and I'm selling as high as possible. Shilor?
So for me, the buying that offense is going to be none other than Mr. Rashard Bateman. He's a guy that has all of the talent in the world, but we haven't seen him put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I think you're going to see an opportunity in a window here where you can probably grab this guy for a second round pick. And if you can grab him for a second round pick, the sky's the limit. Number one, the offense is in fact changing. That's the biggest thing that's actually coming out of everything that's going on in Baltimore. As they replaced their offense coordinator, they brought in a brand new one in Todd Monken, who plans on opening up and probably giving, if Lamar stays there, a lot more autonomy to him to actually throw the ball and come away from a lot of just the read option style pieces. Because the biggest thing there is your quarterback's health. Running quarterbacks that are taking a load, 15 carries a game, 10 carries a game, those things take a major toll on a quarterback. And if he's going to sit back and actually throw the ball, he's going to be hitting Rashard Bateman. So he's my buy this year.
Good deal, Raz.
Okay, cool. Baltimore Ravens. I have two buys. I'm following with Shilor because I like this. I think the offense is going to expand. I'm buying Mark Andrews and I'm buying J.K. Dobbins.
There you go.
J.K. Yes, sir. See J.K. When Lamar gets back, it's not going to be as much running. He's still going to run, but not going to be as much. So they're gonna feed J.K. a lot more. So this is the best time to buy J.K. right now when everybody's lower. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. I feel like they're gonna run JK to the ground. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's he's like finishing that rookie deal either this year or next year. So hey, yeah, like
But
look,
he's finally gonna get those touches that everybody thought he was always gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So that's just great all around. For J.K. Dobbin owners, I have a few shares and I'm actually buying more. So you got the Browns. Whew, man, my sale is Deshaun Watson. I don't know. I don't know if I can trust him. This guy came in last year and the offense got worse. Obviously, he's been out of football for like 19 years, so we don't know. We just don't know He's still a phenomenal talent. They can still add more to that group. But for me, I'm selling Deshaun Watson, especially to those who believe in Deshaun Watson. He's been a top, fantasy quarterback every time that he's played, and he's played, full season. So he's a great quarterback. But for me, I just don't know. And if I can downgrade, let's say trade a Deshaun Watson and gain another quarterback that I like and a second or a third or something, I'm selling all day. Tommy?
Browns. I'm selling Njoku. I don't believe in Njoku. I don't believe that there's this secret thing. I think if he was going to really explode, he would have done it last year. I do realize he was better with the other guy at quarterback.
Brissett.
So yeah, Brissett. So I know some people probably say, oh well, maybe once he gets settled in. I just don't believe it. But I'm buying, and I got him written down as Mario Van Peebles, but I guess Donovan Peoples Jones. I'm buying Donovan Peoples Jones. Reason I say that is because I do think they're going to be a little bit more pass happy, and I think they're going to find it better on the out on the edges, as opposed to Njoku. I don't trust Njoku. Njoku needs to go.
Yeah, nobody trusts Njoku. His family don't trust him. Nobody trusts him. I don't think anybody's buying Njoku. Like, you put him out there on the block, he's going to be sitting there by himself on the block. Nobody wants Njoku.
Listen, they gave him a contract, though. Didn't they give him a big contract?
Why? They give everybody a big contract in Cleveland. Nobody wants to come there. Nobody wants to live there. Hey, we're going to overpay you so you can stay here in Cleveland. Sure. Cleveland rocks, man. Cleveland rocks. Sheila, who you got, man?
My buy is Nick Chubb. And I'm gonna tell you why it's Nick Chubb. It's very interesting. Because he's always been in a timeshare situation all the way from college. Although he is right around that 27 years old, typically where you kind of see the decline, because he's always been in a timeshare, he's always fresh. And he's always open to that. But then you see somebody that continuously puts up 1,300, 1,500 yards on a consistent basis. And if Deshaun Watson is going to be struggling, then that means they're going to lean on Nick Chubb. The other piece is they lean on Nick Chubb even more when the weather gets cold. When it gets cold outside, what back are you going to hold all the way to your championship? It's going to be Nick Chubb. That's the guy that you want to actually have when it gets cold outside in Cleveland. If Deshaun Watson is struggling, he's going to lean on that running game. And the other piece is we also are seeing a scenario here where Kareem Hunt is likely going to be gone. So a side sleeper there for you is going to be Mr. Jerome Ford. So that's just bonus content for you. Definitely someone to grab and stash in your leagues. He's on waiver wires in different places. Somebody just to consider as a handcuff there for Nick Chubb.
All right, man. Good deal. So we have breaking news. A trade has been made in one of our leagues. Batman and Robin. Lucky Chucky gets Mike Williams and I forgot no names. And gets Mike Evans. Who do you guys think wins this trade between Mike Williams and Mike Evans?
That's a straight up.
No picks.
It's a push.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what that guy offered me just a few minutes ago. I had to deny him. This guy offered me. It was. It's gonna make you guys laugh. Batman Robin.
So while you're finding that deal,
no, I got it here.
Okay.
Aaron Jones and that's actually the better one. There's a better one. Mike Evans and Aaron Jones for Waddle. What?
Listen, it's late night, y'all. Some people participate in extracurricular activities. So whatever that is,
oh man,
I'm gonna keep it pure. I don't want none of it,
Man.
but we can tell. That's some extracurricular activities right there.
But here's the interesting thing about this trade. Mike Williams is 28, and Mike Evans is 29. Yeah. They both were 3 picks apart. So it's one of those things where maybe one guy wanted another guy, and then the other guy said, man, I made the wrong pick. I should have picked this guy. And then you swap at the end, because I wanted to see where these guys were drafted. One was drafted at 905, and one was drafted at 908. So it's one of those guys where the ADPs are around the same area. The age is around the same area. It's just one guy has a quarterback and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, who'd you rather have?
Mike Evans all day long.
I would rather have Mike Williams, actually.
I'm going Mike Evans. Because your number one ability is availability.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Williams, even from college, has not been available on the field. And Mike Evans actually is one of the only receivers in NFL history to literally have 1,000 yards in
Mm-hmm.
every season that he's been out there.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's the guy that I would rely on, and he always seems to have one of those blow up games every year that literally just wins your week.
Right.
So give me Mike Evans, but
Yeah,
I
I
definitely want to
feel
hear
you.
your take on that on your Mike Williams, so many.
So with the reason why I won't go Mike Evans is, for one, they're going to downgrade quarterback. And there's talks that Kyle
Maybe
Trask
not.
is
Maybe
going to
not.
be the quarterback. Kyle Trask, y'all. Okay. So you still have Godwin, who's a dog, and he's younger, right? He's the guy that does a lot of the intermediate stuff. On the flip side, Keenan Allen might be a cap casualty. Keenan Allen might be gone. And if that happens, they might draft a rookie. And if they do, Mike Williams is going to be the guy that gets a ton of targets. That's why I'm getting in on the Mike Williams now before it's too late. Jordan Palmer, don't trust him. Justin Herbert's going to have to throw to somebody. And on top of that, that tight end that they got, Gerald Everett, he might be on his way out. So when you look at it, who's on the team right now? Mike Williams. And when he's healthy, he's going to put up numbers. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Better quarterback and having the bulk of the target shares. That's why I go Mike Williams over Mike Evans. And then he's 2 years, or well, 1 year younger. So that's that too, which doesn't really mean anything. If you can ball, regardless of age. But last team in the AFC North, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll kick it off. My buy would be Jamar Chase. Why not? This is a guy that's arguably, you can say he's the number one dynasty wide receiver. What do you think, Jefferson? What do you think, Jamar Chase? He was hurt last year, so we don't even know what this guy could have done in a 17-game season, which is insane. Like Jorge says, this guy gets mad targets. Even with a T. Higgins, the connection between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is bar none one of the best in the entire league. So being that they're college teammates, being that, hey, nobody knows him better than this QB, regardless of T. Higgins, they can bring in 5 other receivers. There's always going to be a connection between these two guys. The only thing with Jamar Chase is, in startups, you got to target him on the back end from picks 8 down. After the draft, he is expensive. I've seen people pay 3 first-round picks for this guy, and he's worth the price of admission if you already have a nice team, or if you're building a team that's going to last. So anytime I'm on the back end, man, Jamar Chase is the guy that I draft, and he's going to be with the franchise, with my franchise, for at least the next 10 years. So he's a guy that you can ride that train. Imagine if you drafted a Julio Jones and you rode him all the way till he, was done. That's just a great, great buy. But more so buy in dynasty startups, not, straight up, because you're going to spend. Shilor, who you got?
So one other piece on that Jamar Chase piece, I literally just sold him in the league for 2 first-round picks. I got Treylon Burks and I got Rashard Bateman, who we just talked about. So that's what the price of admission, and really start looking at grabbing hold of somebody like that. So I'm definitely on board with you on that. Definitely get him in the draft. If you don't get him in the draft, you're in trouble. A lot of times the cheapest place to buy a player is going to be in a startup. But my sell for the Cincinnati Bengals is none other than running back Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had a horrible season. He did not crack over 1,000 yards. And what was wild was his backup, Samaje Perine, looked way more effective when he was out there on the field. Even in critical situations, they had Samaje Perine out there. So I look for the Cincinnati Bengals, as they're kind of looking at contracts and kind of fitting everything in, to possibly cut and break ties with Joe Mixon. And at that point, that literally kills all his value. We could see a situation where they hold on to him and they draft a back, because this is a running back class. So that offense, I think he's actually holding back at this point. So whatever you can get for him, definitely get rid of him. And I think you'll thank me for it later.
And to speak on Joe Mixon, with as bad as Joe Mixon played, he was RB10. That's the beautiful thing about PPR. This guy had 60 receptions, and I'm taking 60 receptions every single day of the week. Joe Mixon is actually a guy that I'm buying low. I wish I bought him as low as Shilor did in one league. He gave up like a 24 second and a third, or in a fourth, or something crazy. And the guy
God did.
The guy just handed him Joe Mixon. I just was able to pick up Joe Mixon in the 8th round of a startup. That's kind of where I'm looking to grab a guy like this. People are down on him, and he might get cut this year. We don't know. So even if he gets cut, he is still better than a lot of these starting running backs like Joe Mixon or Brian Robinson. Give me Joe Mixon at a good price and at a good deal. He still has talent. It's just, and he's 26 years old. So, he can play another 2 years at an elite level. He needs to get his mind back in the game. I mean, he's playing in the elite offense. If he stays in Cincinnati, I'm buying all day. Tommy, what about you?
All right, so I'll start with my sell. My sell was Joe Mixon as well. This guy has issues with the law right now. Plus, he has issues with last year. He just didn't have a good season, so we don't really know what's going to happen. If he gets cut loose, you don't really know where he's going. So, yeah, I'm selling him all day. And then my buy, what I got down here is whoever they add to the offense. So whatever new piece they're bringing in, I want in on it. So whatever they're bringing in, whether it's running back, receiver, if they're replacing Boyd or something like that, I want in on it. So that's it.
Good deal. Let's transition to the NFC North. You got the Vikings. A guy that I would say that I'm buying on the Vikings is TJ Hawkinson, man. He's expensive, but he's a guy that I'm targeting in all my startups. He's a guy that if I can swing a trade to where I'm giving up like an Evan Ingram plus for Hawkinson, I'm doing that all day. Hawkinson is going to become a household name after this season. He's already a household name, but I'm talking about that Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews type of numbers. He's going to put that up this year. He's playing with a guy in Kirk Cousins who loves to throw the ball. We saw what Kirk Cousins was able to do with a guy like Jordan Reed. And this guy is way better than Jordan Reed, and it's not even close. So Hawkinson's season is here. If you can grab this guy at any cost, you go ahead and do it, especially in tight end premium leagues. He is going to win you some leagues this year. Tommy, who you got?
I'm with you on TJ Hawkinson. Somebody else I can go is probably Naylor. So you can look at Naylor as a good buy there because they're going to need some targets to go around. Thielen's getting a little bit older, but Hawkinson is going to be the man. And I'm selling the running back. I forget his name, Cook. I'm selling Cook.
Just cut him.
I think he's probably not going to make it on the team this year. And even if he does, I believe his role is going to be limited. So that's where I'm at on that.
That's interesting. Sheilor?
So my buy, and I'm in perfect alignment. Like sometimes we disagree, but like we are all on the same page. I am the chairman and the CEO of the TJ Hawkinson fan club. So I'm glad that y'all are all here now. God bless you. Go ahead, let's get this party started. But another train that I want to make sure we hop on is we're talking about what needs to happen, cutting Dalvin Cook. I'm telling everybody to go buy Alexander Madison. This is the time to go buy this guy. Why do you want to buy him? Because one, he's going to be a free agent this year. So looking at the film, looking at the tape, seeing his talent, it's possible that he can end up in a great situation next year. And you can get him for super cheap right now. Or if I'm smart and I'm the Vikings and I know exactly what I have in him, I'm going to let go of Dalvin Cook and I'm going to go ahead and sign Madison at a lower cost and go ahead and keep the flow and keep the party going with him. So Alexander Madison is my buy for the Minnesota Vikings.
I love it, man. I've been buying some Alexander Madison on the slide. Like somebody just timed out and got Alexander Madison. I'm kind of mad about that in our draft. The Lions, this is an explosive offense. There's tons of pieces to get. Like you can pick a piece, but a piece that I'm selling is DeAndre Swift. I've been trying to sell this guy since last year. I started to see the decline, and I was trying to sell this guy, but right now nobody's buying. If they're buying, they're not giving me the value that I want. I was able to sell one share, and I was able to get Rashad White and a 24 first. So I think that's great value for Swift. If you can get any 23 first for this guy, you go ahead and just do it and just kind of start over. Deep RB class. There's tons of guys coming in. If you can get some kind of level of compensation for DeAndre Swift, you get him. It's getting to a point to where his team don't trust him. His own mama don't trust him. His brother don't trust him. His bus driver don't trust him. Nobody trusts this guy right now. So I don't know what happens with DeAndre Swift. I love the talent, but he's never available. So he's a sell for me. Shilor?
So there's a quarterback by the name of Jared Goff who actually finished as quarterback number 10 in most formats. This guy is a major buy. He was literally left for dead when he actually got traded from the Rams. Sean McVay threw him out, told him don't come back, hit the road jack, and they got themselves Matthew Stafford. And what happened is sometimes when I think Geno Smith has this quote, he said, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. That's Jared Goff's testimony. So he's now leading an explosive offense that was actually top 10 in the league in the passing pieces. He's going to have some emerging weapons actually around him, and Jamison Williams coming back, as well as Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I'm thinking they're going to continue to add talent to that team. This team literally is one of those running back aways from being that top 5 style offense. So I'm buying all of Jared Goff I can get my hands on.
Good deal. Good deal. The Green Bay Packers. Hey, Tommy, have you talked about the Lions yet?
I have not, but
Okay,
listen,
go ahead.
real quick, I'm buying Goff, and I am selling. Who was the receiver they took last year? Jamison Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
It's not that I don't believe. Is that at the prices that they was buying last year, I'm selling. So anybody that wants to give me a first for that guy right now, hey, you can have it. So it's not a big sell; it's a small sell, but I'm not as high on him as I was. So that's that.
Yeah. One other note on that, I think that's really big. Jamison Williams might actually end up being a better real life addition for the team versus a fantasy addition. Because with that speed alone, he's going to actually draw double coverage, and he's going to open up the middle of the field. So another buy is going to be whoever they bring in at tight end. If they bring in another tight end and replace that TJ Hawkinson that they sold off, then that would definitely be something that I would want to actually open up. It also opens up the middle for Amon-Ra St. Brown to continue to do amazing, amazing things. So I think he's better a real life player than a fantasy player going forward.
I agree. I have a few shares, and I'm over here like, I don't know. Drafted this guy late in first, and in 2023, he's going to be just a piece that I kind of hold. Once he blows up, man, I'm selling him for 24 first. Selling for 24 first. The Packers, man, this is a weird team. There's really nobody that I want to buy. But if I had to sell somebody, I would say Aaron Rodgers. Sell him. Get whatever you can, because you don't know with this guy. One day he's in, one day he's out. He's actually in a retreat, and I'm going to show you what his room looks like. Well, that didn't work. I got lights back there, but you guys get what I'm saying. This dude is in the dark.
I thought it was gonna be a picture, bro. I thought you had a real picture of the room.
Now I was gonna shut off the light, and then awesome. I got lights in the back. But yeah, he's in a dark room. They're saying he's emerging from the darkness, like the Dark Knight, and we don't know what this guy is gonna do. But just real interesting, man. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to Tommy while I make my Devy pick.
Listen, give me Love. I'm buying Love, and I am buying Watson. I think Watson is actually going to be better with Love, because Love is just going to lock onto him, target him, and keep throwing the ball to him. So it's been wanting to get Watson a lot more in some leagues. And yeah, the sell is Aaron Rodgers. Here you go, Sheila.
Alan Lazard goes real hard. He's about to get paid, y'all. So I don't know if he's going to end up staying in Green Bay or if he's going to actually go somewhere different. But he's going to be one of the top free agent wide receivers on the market. If he stays in Green Bay, I'm not as excited. But if he goes somewhere else, I'm very excited for him, because I think he's going to have an opportunity to really make some noise and really kind of get some things together. But give me Alan Lazard, because he's going to get the payday. A lot of times that equates to targets. So I'm looking forward to him actually doing some big things this offseason. You can get him real cheap. A lot of times you can grab him for a third round. We're in some startups. You can get him in around 10, 11, 12. So he's not somebody that I'm like, oh my gosh, the talent is there. But when you actually see that payday and actually the cost that you can grab him at, then by all means, I would definitely say grab you some Alan Lazard shares.
That's interesting, man. He's a guy that I've not even paid attention to. I honestly didn't know the guy was still playing football.
Yeah, follow the money, man. We saw it with Christian Kirk last year. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, Christian Kirk isn't all that good. But when you start getting $15 million a season, they're gonna find a way to find the ball to you because GMs and coaches don't want to get fired.
That's true. That's true. Lazard's a guy that has a talent. For some reason, he's not put it all together yet. But like you said, this could be the year. And if you can get him low, why not? Why not? So we got the Chicago Bears. We got the Chicago Bears, and well, anybody want to go first? I'll go last.
I'll go first. So the only person I'm buying is Komet. I know there's going to be some Herbert guys, but the only person I'm buying is Komet, and I am selling QB. Big sell for me. I don't believe him. I don't trust him. I don't want him. All you can. I'm not going to do that, but I'm selling the QB.
You mean you're selling their running back, their star back, Fields? Okay.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Sheila, who are you buying or selling?
Check it out, man. So I'm buying Mr. Claypool because you can get him for dirt cheap. And what's interesting is the Chicago Bears ended up with the number 1 pick in the draft, and they have not come out with this vote of confidence for Justin Fields. And I'm thinking Justin Fields could potentially be on the move. And if he's on the move, that means that there's none other than probably Bryce Love coming in. Not Bryce Love, Bryce Young coming in. Thinking about the Redskins back that it didn't necessarily ever come together here. Yeah. But yeah, Mr. Bryce Young coming in. And that guy can throw the ball. He's accurate. He has a lot of different talents and things of that nature. But they paid a 2nd-round pick for Claypool. So it's definitely someone they're invested in, but never saw the connection with Fields. He's someone that you can buy extremely low right now. So I would definitely go ahead and grab hold of Mr. Claypool and see what you're working with there.
Yes, mine is similar to yours. If and only if they bring in a rookie quarterback, Bryce Young, I'm buying Darnell Mooney. Mooney is on the cusp of an extension. So if he's getting an extension, that means they're getting a real quarterback and they're going away from the running back. So if they do bring in a quarterback, it just makes everybody attractive. That means Tommy's Cole Kmet. That means your Claypool and Mooney can all eat and have family time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping, I want Fields to do well, but for my sake and my take, if he's not here, that means they're bringing in a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. So maybe he goes. But I put out a vid on my YouTube channel and I said Fields should be traded to the Ravens, especially if Lamar is gone. You put him in an offense that they hardly throw the ball. Matter of fact, they run, play action, dink and dunk. Oh, boom, there goes the tight end. And one thing we know that Fields likes to do is he likes to throw to the tight end. So boom, it could work out for him in an offense like that. But remember, we also talked about what if the Bears draft a Bijan Robinson and have that 2-back system between Fields and Robinson. That could be something nice for that offense and could make them one of the best running offenses in, all of football. So I think we are done with the NFC North as well as the AFC North. So now let's get into the part of the show where we pick our players. We got 2 players and you kind of give your takes on these players. And then as the year goes on or by the end of the season, we'll go back, play back the tape, and then we'll see who was right, who was wrong. Just something fun that we could do. So I'm going to start it off. Mac Jones. I think that Mac Jones. Who?
Mac Jones.
Who?
Mac Jones.
I think that Mac Jones has a great season this year. For one, Bill O'Brien is back. For 2, it's either he succeed or he's done. So I'm buying all the Mac Jones that I can buy, but that doesn't mean I'm spending top dollar. I'm getting this guy late in drafts. I'm spending like a second just to trade up, just to get the guy, or a third, or whatever the case may be, to get Mac Jones. He's still young, entering year 3. I do think they draft this guy a wide receiver. And I've said it on previous episodes, JSN. Some people are saying, oh, I don't want JSN to go. Look, if JSN goes to Pittsburgh, goes to the Patriots to play with a Mac Jones. We saw what Mac Jones looked like with weapons in Alabama. You might say he's not the most athletic quarterback or this or that. He can throw the ball. You can say, oh, his arm talent. He can throw the ball. He had no problems getting the ball to the likes of Jalen Waddle and co. So if you get this guy a weapon like JSN or Addison or somebody of that caliber, even if it's in free agency, I don't know. Maybe you draft somebody and then you bring in somebody. Maybe it's Zay Flowers. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I think this guy has a big season this year. And I don't want to say he's going to be a top 15 because he doesn't have that rushing upside, but he can be a quarterback that's on the up and up that can, we have guys like Jimmy G. He's going to be fading out soon. We have Aaron Rodgers. We don't know when he's going to retire. You have some of these older quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford, some of these other quarterbacks that might not post those regular numbers. And as Mac Jones continues to ascend, who knows what he looks like, what he looks like in 2 years. Now you're talking, oh, man, this guy played well in year 3, year 4, 5th-year option. Okay, second contract. You got to lock these guys in. And if a guy like Daniel Jones can get an offensive mind that fits him, this could be the year that Mac Jones gets the weapons and gets that offensive mind that fits him. So I'm buying Mac Jones, like I said, low, and I think that Mac Jones has a good season this year. I just can't predict the numbers. I can't say top 15 or rank him anywhere. All I'm saying is Mac Jones has an amazing season this year. Tommy?
Okay. I'm glad you went to me. So my first one's going to be Sam Howell. Listen, what I believe about Sam Howell is, for one, we all know had he come out a year earlier, he may have been the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He goes back to school. He's missing just about all of his weapons, and he doesn't look as great that year. And I guess some of the evaluators may have thought, hey, well, maybe it was the guys around him made him look better. But that's not what I believe. I believe that Sam Howell, I think he has I think it's more so his personality is really the reason he dropped. So when he did like his testing and stuff like that, he didn't come off as the guy that or the prototypical quarterback, like the raw guy. And I believe he got really dinged for that, and really dinged for that last season at North Carolina. But this guy with the Redskins, with Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, right now Curtis Samuel, whatever his name is. Plus, he not so great running back, but you still have Gibson there. I think this guy has plenty of weapons, and I believe they're just going to put more around him this offseason. Now coming in with Eric Bieniemy and this offense they're going to bring in, I believe this guy has all the tools and everything around him to succeed. So and another thing that Sam Howell can do is run too. He can run with the ball too, so he can get you some rushing yards, maybe a couple of rushing touchdowns. So I believe that Sam Howell is a great buy. And right now in startups, you can get him in 8th, 9th round. If you want to secure him, go ahead and take him in the 7th. If you take him in the 7th, you got him as a lock. But yeah, man, somebody beat me to him and ruined my whole draft strategy earlier today. But I have been getting Howell for the cheap, for the low, in a lot of places. And I've actually sold him for a first-round pick. So right now, if you have Howell, I wouldn't sell him for anything less than a first-round pick, me being honest. Because I think from this point moving forward, when he's confirmed that that's the guy that they're gonna go with, he's not gonna be this cheap ever again. So Howell's my guy.
Good deal. Shilor?
I want to invite you all on to the Treylon Burks Express. Wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans, Mr. Treylon Burks, is about to go off. At this point last year, he was talked about as the Dynasty wide receiver, one that you wanted to actually grab coming out of the draft. And then what happened is you saw him go through the whole offseason. You saw him actually deal with some injuries and kind of struggle to kind of get through the first year. We saw something similar with one Mr. A.J. Brown when he initially got to the Titans. He did end up showing some more signs at the end of that first year. But when we go into year 2, same kind of setup and everything in place. He's set up to now walk in 2 feet into that A.J. Brown role. He's going to be the wide receiver one there. He's going to have a full offseason to kind of prep. He's going to actually know the offense, and he was showing signs whenever he was on the field. You saw the flashes. You saw the explosiveness. You saw all of the different pieces that are going to make him an elite receiver. So I'm all in on Treylon Burks. Grab him now because you can buy him cheap. When the season starts, it's too late. Go get your Treylon Burks right now.
Great deal. Great deal. So my next guy is Donovan Peoples-Jones. This guy is about to put up some massive numbers this year. Heading into year 3. In year 2, he had his best season, over 800 yards. This season, he's going to be well over 1,000. I'm looking like maybe possibly 1,200. Maybe possibly Amari Cooper gets a lot of eyes on him. Guess what that means? All of a sudden, Donovan Peoples-Jones gets open. He starts catching passes. He starts to build a rapport with Deshaun Watson. Then now you have to make a decision in year 4. Do you pay this guy or do you draft somebody else? And I think he's going to be a guy that, like, he's one of my buys. I've been getting this guy low. I've been getting this guy as a toss-in in deals, and people's eyes are blinded right now. They don't know what's hitting them. I've been getting this guy past 3 months on the cheap. I think he's going to have well over 1,000. I want to say 1,200 yards. I want to say about 7 touchdowns. I want to say about 85 receptions. If that happens, guess what? He's now a household name. And then now Amari Cooper becomes expendable. Now you don't have to, or after 2 years, Amari Cooper's like 30-something. You can let him go. And then now you can say, hey, Donovan Peoples-Jones, you are our number 1, while we go out there and try to draft you a Marvin Harrison next year. So, yeah, that's my guy. That's my prediction. That's my hot take. Donovan Peoples-Jones will well over 1,200 yards next year. Shilor?
So, okay, let's get scorching hot because, we've been kind of doing this thing kind of, different. Let me tell you what, at the end of next season, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to actually be looked upon as the Dynasty RB1. I know everything that you're hearing right now is Bijan Robinson, but let me tell you why Jahmyr Gibbs is the better option. 1, he has this elite skill of contact balance. 2, he also has an elite skill of home run game-breaking speed. When he's in the open field, he's not getting caught. Bijan Robinson has an amazing talent, great skill set, but he doesn't have Jahmyr Gibbs' hands. In the right system, he's going to kill all next year. He's going to have almost that same Alvin Kamara effect right when he gets to it. Imagine Alvin Kamara with more speed. That's literally who Jahmyr Gibbs is. A lot of times people don't know who he is. I started talking to Manny about him while he was at Georgia Tech before anything ever happened. I sent him a video and he was like, oh my gosh, this dude is it. I said, I know. Don't tell everybody. And then, of course, the transfer to Alabama happened. So now he's a household name. But I'm telling y'all, get yourselves some Jahmyr Gibbs. And a lot of leagues, what I'm looking at doing is actually taking advantage of my Bijan shares and actually moving down to the 2 spot and grabbing the additional capital there and grabbing me Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm going to laugh all the way to the bank when he kills when he walks into the league. So get yourselves in position to go get you some Jahmyr Gibbs. It's on.
Good deal. Good deal. Tommy, what about you?
All right. I'm going to hit y'all with something. This is kind of cheating, right? Because I talked about this guy before. Isaiah Hodgins. Listen, so we digging deep, right? Isaiah Hodgins, you can buy for nothing. Literally a box of popcorn right now. Listen, so Isaiah Hodgins, I believe, is going to be the real deal as far as outproducing his ADP where you draft him at. I'm not sitting here saying that this guy's going to be a wide receiver 1, but I'm saying he can be a pretty good wide receiver 3 for you. And if you're getting him basically at the bottom barrel with all the bums, that's a great buy. So I definitely believe that Isaiah Hodgins is going to be not only a big part of what they do in New York, no matter who the quarterback is, but I believe he's going to be a great buy, and he's going to kill his ADP. He is going to absolutely murder his ADP. I got a couple honorable mentions here. Elijah Moore, somebody that I am looking at heavy because the Jets are not trying to settle with that quarterback in that quarterback situation, and Jets are actively looking and pursuing better options at QB. That promotes Elijah Moore, and that pushes them up for me.
Mhm.
And then one other person, Bryce Young, is going to be way better than what you believe. Do not listen to this guy in this box here, Sheilor. Don't listen to him. Bryce Young is going to be pretty good. Now, if he struggles with injury, that's one thing. But as far as talent goes, that's my guy. Book it.
All right. So
You slam
now
on tape. Book it.
I'm gonna draft more Bryce Young now in drafts. Thanks a lot, Tommy. I am now on the Bryce Young train. So man,
I'm not convinced, Manny. I don't think you're on the Bryce Young train.
well, we'll see. We'll see. It just all depends on, roster makeup. If I really need a quarterback, and if he's there at 2 or 3, and I desperately need a quarterback, he just might be the pick.
Some drafts he's gonna be there at 4.
Sometimes, yeah.
Listen,
because
the guy's gonna be CJ Stroud. Watch.
Yeah.
Fantasy folks is gonna put CJ Stroud up. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Guys like Sheilor.
I'm just saying. As soon as somebody falls on them and y'all can't find them no more, then y'all let me know.
I mean, we know.
See Kyler Murray.
In a lot of drafts, you're gonna see Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, if I'm in these leagues, is Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, JSN, right? Then it's Bryce Young and CJ.
Listen, this is the same guy that tells you to buy Devonta Smith. You know how small that guy is?
The wide receiver, he not out here. They got rules on that. He's so wide open that he's good.
Man, did you see that guy? Did you see that guy get crushed his last game, Super Bowl?
He came back in.
So with Bryce Young.
Well, guys, this has been another episode of Dynasty Overload, a fantasy podcast. You can find us on TikTok, Twitter, and IG at Dynasty Overload. You can also find us on Apple and Spotify, Dynasty Overload. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a like. Give us a follow. I'll continue to just...
We got merch now. We got
merch now. So help support the show. Sheilor, where can the people find you?
On Twitter, 3D Shield. I got it in the title here for you. Definitely hit me up. Anything I can do to help you, definitely reach out.
Great deal. Tommy?
Forward Moving T. Twitter handle's changing though soon.
Okay, good deal. You guys can find me at Manny Chakuba on Twitter, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Y'all be easy. We are out.